This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and far. We keeping a foot on the whoop on the eeks. We keeping a foot on the whoop on the eeks. Let's talk about it, man. Deontay Wilder is so full of it. And let me explain why he's so full of it, man. Deontay Wilder apologized to Tyson Fury and basically admitted shit 4 days later. He had no inclinations. He had no mindset to want to do it. It was the powers that be that forced him to do it. Al Heyman, Shelley Finkel, all of these powers that be, they forced him, or they forced his rabbit ass, because that's how he's acting in this situation. He's acting in a very rabbit ass movement. They forced him and they put him in a precarious situation where he had no choice but to do it. Because you have to understand, in sports, and I'm going to educate you guys, regardless the sport, when someone shows the lack of sportsmanship, the lack of sportsmanship has basically what we would say exponential consequences that's associated behind it. Let me say it again. It has exponential consequences that's associated behind it. It drops your stock. It drops your value. It drops you and basically how people would view you by how people are thinking of you in terms of the mindset that you are someone that cannot be a person who's going to show sportsmanship. In boxing, this is very big. Because at the end of the fight, in any fucking fight, both fighters go and they hug each other, man. Regardless of the bad blood, regardless of anything that has happened, we know in boxing, this is a pivotal thing that happens time and time again. When Deontay Wilder said, oh, I don't want to go and, deal with Tyson Fury. I don't want to talk at the end of the press conference. I don't want to make a concession speech. It made him look weak. That 11th round technical punching placement that Tyson Fury did, that in of itself should have been more than enough for you to get your rabbit ass up and basically concede. You got beat up, man. I mean, let's just keep it real. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck and let's keep it 1,000. Deontay Wilder got fucked up, man. Now there's no way that you can justify or make excuses. He was trying to. He started with that broken hand bullshit. And then he had an epiphany so many days later. All you had to do is listen to this channel. This was the only channel that was leading you to the promised land, that was telling you the truth. And this channel made it very clear that you were out of line in so many different variations and so many different facets. Your relationship with Taylor Swift, that has not helped your boxing career, man. If anything, it's been a detriment. And I'm going to continue to say that over and over again because I have discernment, man. I see things for what they are. A lot of people can't, but He Knows Everything can. Your entourage, the people that are your yes men and yes women that are lying to you. You have a lot of stuff going on that's not helpful. Your pride against Floyd Mayweather. You not bending the proverbial fucking knee and kissing the ring while you was at it to Floyd. The disrespect that you have shown. All of this is caught up to you, man. And then the fact that you had the rabbit ass nerve to say that you are not going to concede. We all saw what happened in the 11th round. The 11th round was the concession. Let me say it again. The 11th round was the concession. So even if you didn't concede, the knockout Tyson Fury gave you, I want you guys to look at the background. This knockout right here tells you the motherfucker conceded. Look at him. Holding down the fucking Tyson Fury's legs. You know what that means? That means your legs turned into jelly. And you know how a fighter's leg turned into jelly? It's because in knockouts, a fighter technically places the punch. That's why it's called technical punching placement. Tyson Fury did that shit so well in the 11th round. When I saw it, I was like, damn, that was crispier than a fucking 3-piece. I had to give him credit for it. And he knocked your ass out, man. Stop making yourself look bad out here in these boxing streets. But you continuously do it. 4 days later, who does that? When you get knocked out in that fashion, you are making your concession right then and there. That would have shown that you had strength. It would have shown resolve. It would have shown that you are a sportsman. It would have shown to people, and you know what? Deontay Wilder can get fucked up, but at the same time, Deontay Wilder can admit some shit. You couldn't even do that. And you want me as a fight fan to respect you? I can't fucking respect that, man. That's why you got the 50 Cents of the world. That's why you got all these people laughing at you, man. I'm going to tell you guys something right now. Deontay Wilder, to me, like I told you guys, I've been told you guys I lost a lot of respect for him. And I almost got to a point where I almost lost every respect. Deontay Wilder is still a great fighter. Not taking that away from him. He got 10 title defenses. That hasn't happened since Muhammad Ali. HeKnowsEverything was the one to tell you guys this. Nobody else was talking about his 10 title defenses. The only person who was talking about it was HeKnowsEverything. And HeKnowsEverything talked about it. HeKnowsEverything brought it up. HeKnowsEverything mentioned it. HeKnowsEverything unctioned it so you guys could know about it. This motherfucker had 10 title defenses. And he did a hell of a fine job with the 10 title defenses. But I'm going to tell you guys something. If you look at his timeline and you look at how everything started, everything went awry and everything went bad for Deontay Wilder once Telly Swift came into the picture. Basically, they said they were starting to mess around since 2015, but they really got serious around 2018. If you're going to look at all of his fights leading up until 2018, who did he fight at the end of that year? Tyson Fury. How many fights have he had with Tyson Fury since his relationship with Telly Swift has developed? 3. What have been the outcomes of all of these fucking fights? If you go look at every other fight Deontay Wilder's had, there's never been some weird, spooky, ooky outcome. It's definitive. Bomb squad on your ass. Knockout on your ass. But with Tyson Fury, there's always been something spooky, ooky, and ilky. So you guys have to be honest here, man. You gotta be cold-hearted here. You gotta be unadulterated, and you gotta tell a cutthroat truth, tell a fashion. Deontay Wilder is looking weak out here in these boxing streets because Deontay Wilder cannot admit defeat. It was a trilogy. Y'all gave us a hell of a fucking fight. I'm not gonna sit here and say that you didn't. Deontay Wilder put up every effort that he possibly can. But let me tell you something. Deontay Wilder got beat up. Deontay Wilder got done up. Deontay Wilder got exposed. And we gotta be honest. That's it. There's 3 fights. Tyson Fury don't even need to have no more fucking fights with this motherfucker. It's done. But it all started with the part 2. You was lynched. You did a glove gate via paid to lose, which is a permanent stainage on your boxing resume. And then you follow it up with this. Getting knocked out. And you got knocked out crispy. There wasn't no hesitation with this knockout. There wasn't no delay with this knockout. This knockout was evident. If fight fans are being honest with themselves and telling the truth, they know that the truth will set you free. And those whom the truth set free are free indeed. Deontay Wilder got knocked out, man. He got bomb squad. He got done the fuck up. Basically, Tyson Fury did to Deontay Wilder what Deontay Wilder normally does to these other opponents. Deontay Wilder got exposed at the highest levels. So enough with the excuse. Enough with trying to run with narratives to say, well, Deontay Wilder's a great champion. They wouldn't have said this, man. If push comes to shove on the other end and Deontay Wilder won, these same Deontay Wilder mites, these same Deontay Wilder fanboys and fangirls would have sat there and clowned Tyson Fury. They would have been laughing at him. They would have had emojis about him basically getting put to sleep. I know how they roll. But you see how they switching everything? They talking about how great Deontay. No. We gonna talk about Deontay Wilder's greatness when his career is fucking over. What we're gonna talk about is how he handled himself at the end of this fight. And how he's handled himself is nothing like a great champion. There's nothing great about the way he handled himself. Nothing. Everything that he did was left to be fucking admired. It was not fucking anything to admire. If anything, it was a disgrace. Not only to the race, it was a disgrace nevertheless, because he was being disgraceful on so many levels, on so many epic proportions and so many epic magnitudes. Deontay Wilder is the quintessential Negro that's hard-headed, stubborn, and prideful. These are the worst kind of Negroes to deal with because they don't want nobody telling them anything and they don't want to evolve. That bullshit about a wise man told me that you could lose when you win. You should have said that shit. If a wise man told you that way back, why did it take you 4 days later? Come on, you're not fooling a three-dimensional thinker here. You can fool all of these other weird motherfuckers. You ain't fooling me. You can't fool me. I'm too fucking smart. Too intelligent for your peon fucking brain. You are not fooling me. But you can fool all of these other motherfuckers. It took you 4 days? 4 days to have the unmitigated gall and the audacity to finally come out with an apology, finally come out with a concession, finally come out congratulatory. It makes you look weak. When you got knocked out the way you did in that 11th round, you should have been congratulating Tyson Fury for knocking your ass out. Because it was a clean fucking knockout, man. There was nothing dirty about that shit. Tyson Fury beat the shit out of Deontay Wilder, and we gotta be honest about this shit. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat truth-teller fashion. I keeps the foot on the what? On the Knicks. I keeps the foot on the what? On the Knicks. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.